All right. Good blessed evening, everybody. I got to delete some of the stuff. Coming to you with a video on Jezebel, a quick one. All right. Um, the need for predictability. Naturally, Jezebel needs to be able to predict, as we spoke about before in the series with the Jezebel. And you can go back on the channel and watch some of those videos. Jezebel needs to be able to predict what you're going to do. So they'll sit there and study you. But this is also tied to controlling. Jezebel is also a controlling spirit. From what we know with her and Ahab, we think that Ahab was the king when it was really Jezebel was the king or the ruler of that area. Now, seeking predictability leads to control because controllers manipulate their circumstances so much that they end up attempting to reposition everything in their lives. So they try to manipulate and control the situation so much that they will rearrange their lives so that things fall into place so that they can predict situation or they can further manipulate someone. These types of controllers, they expend great effort in manipulating people. I'll give you a good example. For instance, my ex-wife, when she had been begging me to go to counseling, after I caught her stepping out, I decided to go to counseling with her. What I found out was that she was manipulating the counselor, and by manipulating, I mean lying to the counselor to get her to say that it was okay to leave. When I told the counselor the truth, the look she had on her face and her jaw just dropped. When I'm like, well, no, she's been sleeping around on me. I don't know what she's been telling you. And then I looked at her like, what have you been telling this woman? That's when I knew that this is a Jezebel spirit, but this spirit she was trying to manipulate the situation so that when she made her move, she would feel comfortable and justified in turning everybody against me based off the lies. But I tell you, brothers and sisters, Proverbs 6:16-19, I say this all the time because it's absolutely true, is the word of God. God absolutely detests a liar. So, these people that will lie on you and try to harm you, they believe that they'll win. But understand this, another Proverbs. Actually, no, it's from the book of Job. Don't you know that they're triumphing, their victory is but for a minute, and their eternity will be of losing. So don't worry about those people that will lie on you. That example was just an example of how a controller will manipulate the situation and change their life around so that they put everybody in a position to be turned against you so that they can then control everything that goes on and not only feel justified, but feel like they have some type of power. Understand, Jezebel, the spirit of Jezebel manipulates because she doesn't really have power. Okay? She just finds people who are weak enough to be manipulated. Understand that? So they spend great effort in manipulating people. A simple change of plans can really magnify their insecurity. I'll give you another good example. At one point, I had two cars. I was renting one, then I went out and got one because God told me I'd go ahead and get one, and I got it. And when I tell you, that spirit got so pissed off because there were men coming by my apartment that I didn't know about it. But she didn't. What ticked that spirit off, that Jezebel spirit off, is because now she didn't know what car I was going to be driving. So those men that were coming by my apartment and picking her up while we're married, she don't know when I'm coming or when I'm going because I got two different cars. She don't know what other ones that. So that slight change that slight change pissed her off, and I can see it. I could absolutely see it. It absolutely pissed her off when I had that second car because she didn't know when I was coming, when I was going. But one was for work, and one was for pleasure. But these type of people not only lack trust in God, but they are often hostile towards him. So when it's kind of like what we see a lot is when one spouse is getting closer to God, the other spouse is the testing that spouse that's getting closer to God. I can raise my hand in testimony to that as well. When you get closer to God, that will really test the spirit of your spouse. It really will test the spirit of your spouse. Are they going to get closer with God with you? Or are they going to dive deeper back into the world? So, and again, and why does it do that? Because they cannot predict God. Like just with that example I gave you, why did that spirit get so pissed off that I got a second car? Because now the predictability of me coming and going is off. When God told me to go get that other car, I was like, man, I don't know if they're gonna approve me, God. He was like, go for it, and they did on the spot. They approved me a nice car, one of the best cars I ever had. So, but it disrupted the predictability that Jezebel had in place. So Jezebel could no longer predict what I was going to do. Or that particular spirit could not predict what I was going to do, despite the great effort Jezebel went through to hide all that it was doing. It cannot predict God. So that's why it hates those that get closer unto God. It hates those that follow God because they cannot predict God. These spirits are of the world, just like their master Satan. So the only thing that they can predict are things of the world. So that is it for this one on Jezebel. I'm going to go ahead and get the other two videos out about deliverance now. You guys be blessed. I pray that this bless you as much as it blessed me to put this information out about predictability. Take those examples as they are examples. Don't be looking for, oh, well, that's the dirt. No, that's fact. It's truth. That's what happened. That is in no way, shape, or form slander. And again, like I said, it is my testimony. My testimony. When you get close to God, it truly tests the spirit of your spouse. It truly tests the spirit of the person that you're with. Are they going to grow closer to God with you, or are they going to grow closer to the world? If they grow closer to the world, then you have your answer. If they grow closer to God, well, then guess what? Your faith is going to be tested. Your faith is going to be tested. That's why the first 10 years of any marriage is the most troublesome. It's the most troublesome because the enemy, Satan and his kingdom of darkness, is trying to tear down that marriage, which we know he absolutely hates. Which is why divorce rates are so high in America right now. I'm sorry, divorce rates are so high. Have been so high the past 50 years in America. The enemy hates marriage, and shame on those people that fall for that stuff. So you guys have a very, very blessed night. I pray this bless you as much as it blessed me to put the knowledge out here. And I hope it edifies somebody and gives somebody insight into a little bit more about dealing with the spirit of Jezebel. You guys have a very, very blessed night.